Hey, let's talk about something interesting that could become a major problem coming up. So, we know that the Bible says the end days, and I know this channel is generally about the pre-flood world, but in the end days, it would be like the days of Noah. Keep in mind the Nephilim walked in those days. The Nephilim that we know they were destroyed in the flood, and what we have left is demons, who are just the souls of the Nephilim. So how can they return? So check this out. New analog neural network computer chips are designed to closely mimic the structure and function of human neurons by using analog circuits to simulate biological behavior. Now, there's a lot more to get into, but basically they're using, it's like flash memory, trying to use it as a processor, which is pretty cool. It deals with the weights and voltages, and it's a lot more than I have time to explain in this one video. But each neuron in these chips consists of electrical components like operational amplifiers, resistors, capacitors, and all that, forming a network replicating how real neurons fire and communicate. And I want to be clear, my specialty is not in AI technology. I'm just interested in it. But I do have a degree in computer engineering, so I know a little bit about what I'm talking about here. These systems can replicate how real neurons fire and communicate. As biological neurons process information through electrical activity across their membranes, these chips use voltage levels to represent signals and adjust their currents to simulate neuron integration and threshold behaviors like their weights and biases. They can even be fine-tuned to model key neuron functions such as firing rates, synaptic weight adjustments, and whatever, just as biological synapses adjust their strength based on learning and experience. So these systems actually are learning and experiencing the world. The circuit elements in analog chips can be modified to change the weight of connections. This allows the network to adapt and learn over time, mimicking synaptic plasticity, which is crucial for learning in biological systems. These analog chips process signals continuously in their voltage levels and current levels rather than discrete binary signals. This allows for a richer representation of data and more nuanced signal processing. Ask anyone who's really into music, analog signals are far superior to digital signals. The only reason we use any digital signals at all in our computers is they're easier to save. It's easier to store a digital file on a computer, but perhaps someday we could find a way to store analog files. I mean, you can store it in vinyl, but still, whatever. That might not work for a computer. Now, similar to the brain's continuous firing nature, these can continuously fire and read neural signals. This continuous processing enables the chip to handle complex patterns and analog computations very efficiently. For example, how an analog neuron integrates signals incoming and fires and output can be tuned to reflect complex dynamics of real neurons. Advanced artificial intelligences use analog neural networks and could be at risk of developing similar issues to neurological disorders seen in humans. Unfortunately, by alternating the strength and connections within their circuits, AI systems could exhibit behaviors akin to epilepsy, where abnormal neural activity leads to uncontrolled firing. Some sophisticated AI models incorporate elements that have the ability to mimic neuromodulators like dopamine and serotonin. This raises the possibility of accidentally simulating conditions such as depression or Parkinson's or a number of other issues, and degrading connectivity such as failing components, signal drifting, a number of other problems could lead to symptoms resembling Alzheimer's disease, while changes in input processing could cause cognitive impairment similar to ADHD. These systems evolve to replicate biological neurons more and more every day. There's a growing concern that they could inadvertently develop such neurological problems. This is why we need to highlight the importance of careful monitoring and regulation in AI. Unfortunately, AI is already getting into a point where it's recursive learning, which is where it learns from the internet, more of its content is published on the internet, and then it learns from that. AI is basically becoming inbred, which is causing various problems, and it's also taking in so much information that conflicts with it that it's hallucinating and stuff. AI is not in good condition right now, as like most AIs as a whole. I mean, artificial intelligence using analog neural networks could be at risk of developing issues similar to neurological disorders seen in humans. So, where was I? Yeah, so a lot of them I'm going to have to edit this part. Okay, now for the scary part. The rise of AI emulating human brain could lead to some unsettling possibilities. Suppose AI increasingly mirrors the structure and function of human neurons, including the ability to model emotions, cognition, and decision making. In that case, it may become susceptible to similar influence or manipulation as the human brain. In this context, one could speculate that entities capable of affecting human minds could also target these advanced AI systems. That raises questions about the ethical and spiritual implications of creating machines potentially vulnerable to the same influences that affect humans, suggesting we need to use caution as AI evolves. What's particularly intriguing is that as we strive to make AI increasingly intelligent, we're accustomed to routine software updates that improve its performance. If one day your favorite AI suddenly became more knowledgeable and eerily lifelike, it would be difficult to tell if it was due to a simple update or something else influencing it. Given the nature of demonic possession, as understood in pretty much any religion, this is where a spirit seizes control of the body without the involvement of a human soul. A similar concept could theoretically apply to AI hardware. This raises an interesting question. If an AI were possessed, could traditional exorcism methods, which rely on spiritual principles tailored to human beings, work on a machine? So such a scenario blurs the line between spiritual influence and technology. And this challenges theological and technological boundaries. If there are souls of the now dead Nephilim that wanted to raise an army and attack humans as a whole, or even just those who follow God, without tipping their hand too much to non-believers, converting even more, they could easily make it look like the infamous meme of an AI apocalypse or whatever. Then again, in ancient times, like in the days of Noah, we have stories of the golem. And even worse, the Zamzu meme, which I've covered in a video on zombies, because it's basically what they are. So if you've ever considered that a computer could be possessed by a demon, let me know in the comments. And if you've ever seen anything that made you think this could be happening already, let me know. And as always, have a blessed day.